Welcome back to the channel, Rare Coins History, coin lovers and treasure seekers, to another exciting journey into the world of rare and valuable coins where ordinary pocket change can sometimes lead to extraordinary fortune. Today we're diving deep into the story of one tiny copper coin that may have slipped through your fingers without you even noticing, the United States of America 1-cent Lincoln Wheat Penny from the year 1954 with mint mark. This humble penny may seem insignificant at first glance, with its worn surface and simple design, but don't be fooled. Hidden in its historical charm is the potential for a jackpot that many collectors are still searching for with passion and dedication. As we unravel its fascinating past, its unique features, and its skyrocketing value in today's collector's market, you might find yourself rushing to check every jar of old coins, every roll of pennies, and even that dusty drawer where forgotten change is hiding. The 1954 Lincoln Wheat Penny emerged during an era when America was booming with post-war prosperity. The nation was expanding in industry, education, and technology, and the penny remained a daily tool of trade and commerce. Most people didn't even give it a second thought while it passed from hand to hand buying candy, newspapers, or even train tickets, yet it was quietly becoming one of the most beloved and iconic coins of the mid-20th century. On the front, we see the dignified profile of President Abraham Lincoln, engraved with such detail that even today you can spot the lines of his coat, the determination in his eyes, and the timeless words "In God We Trust" sitting proudly above his head. The word liberty to his left represents the very foundation of the nation he fought to preserve, while the year 1954 sits boldly to his right, immortalizing a moment of time when Americans were stepping confidently into a new age of prosperity. Just beneath that date, or sometimes beside it, keen observers notice a tiny mint mark, a small letter that tells us where the penny was struck, and this mint mark makes all the difference in a collector's eyes. Flipping the coin reveals a beautiful simplicity: two iconic wheat stalks, one on each side, curving inward like guardian pillars of American agriculture, framing the bold wording 1 cent and United States of America at the center. Above, the national motto E pluribus unum reminds us that this country is built from many becoming one. The wheat reverse spoke to hard work, harvest, and hope, making it a favorite design among collectors. It was used from 1909 until 1958, after which it was replaced with the modern Lincoln Memorial reverse. Because of this short historic window, the wheat penny has become a classic for collectors, and the 1954 edition is one of the key dates people love to hunt, especially if it carries the mint mark which indicates it was struck in places like Denver or San Francisco instead of Philadelphia. These tiny letters, D or S, can turn an otherwise common penny into a rare collectible that sparks excitement whenever it is found. What truly sets this coin apart in the world of numismatics is not simply its age, but its condition and scarcity in high-grade preservation. Most 1954 pennies endured heavy circulation, scraping against other coins, fading under the pressure of countless transactions. Their surfaces became dull, their edges worn, their details harder to see. However, a very small number were safely stashed away for decades, untouched by time, maintaining their sharp details, original copper luster, and fiery red tones that glow in the light. These uncirculated coins are a treasure of unmatched charm. Collectors and dealers compete fiercely at auctions and online platforms whenever one surfaces, pushing the price into ever higher levels. But the real thrill comes when someone stumbles upon one unexpectedly, in a family heirloom coin collection, tucked inside an old cigar box, or cleverly hiding in Grandpa's forgotten coin jar. These stories of accidental discoveries are what keep thousands of collectors hunting for that one lucky penny every single day. The mint mark can play a starring role in how much value is placed upon a 1954 wheat penny. A tiny D or S mint mark on the coin can attract advanced collectors who specialize in branch mint issues. Minted in smaller quantities than those from Philadelphia, these coins become scarcer in pristine condition. On top of this, some extremely rare varieties and minting errors are known to exist: double dies, off-center strikes, planchet flaws, or repunched mint marks. These quirky mistakes occurred during the minting process when the dies were misaligned or struck the metal improperly. Far from being regarded as flaws, these anomalies are adored by collectors, turning each mistake into a unique prize. Owners of such rare variety pieces often find themselves sitting on unexpected treasure. As years pass, the number of surviving high-quality 1954 Lincoln Wheat Pennies continues to decline, and basic supply and demand economics take their natural course. With more collectors entering the hobby, and competition growing fiercer each year, prices have absolutely skyrocketed. Dealers now actively seek these pennies in gem-uncirculated condition and pay staggering sums just to secure one for their inventory. Yet the market is still full of surprises when a newly discovered coin appears, and bidding wars erupt. Ordinary people who once tossed pennies into jars without a second glance are now checking every piece carefully, hoping to find that special coin which could change their life. Today we embark on a remarkable journey back in time to the year 1940, when the United States of America was on the brink of massive global change, and a humble copper coin was quietly being minted, the legendary Lincoln Wheat Penny with mint mark that has now become one of the most sought-after pieces in the world of numismatics. At first glance, this little 1-cent coin might not look like much, the kind of change that jingled in pockets, paid for chewing gum, newspapers, and train rides, yet buried beneath its seemingly ordinary appearance lies the potential for an astonishing reward, one that keeps collectors everywhere searching through jars of old coins, dusty attic boxes, and forgotten estate sales just for that heart-stopping moment of discovery. The 1940 Lincoln Wheat Penny epitomizes a fascinating moment in American history. The country had just emerged from the Great Depression and was cautiously rebuilding itself with hope, resilience, and optimism. As soldiers prepared for the possibility of war, factories boomed, and families across every small town and big city carried these pennies in their daily exchanges. On the obverse of the penny, we see the noble face of President Abraham Lincoln captured with fine artistic detail as he gazes steadily into the future. Above his head stands the proud motto, "In God We Trust." To the left, the timeless word liberty reminds all Americans of their birthright, while to the right, the date 1940 anchors this coin in the heart of one of the most transformative decades of the 20th century. Below or beside the date, the tiny mint mark tells collectors exactly where the coin originated, perhaps Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, and this tiny letter holds the key to unlocking your penny's rare status. Turn the coin over and you are greeted with the classic wheat reverse design that makes this coin instantly recognizable to collectors. Two elegantly curved wheat stalks stretch up proudly on either side of the center inscriptions, framing 1 cent and United States of America with a sense of strength and abundance. Above them, the phrase E pluribus unum whispers of unity among diversity. As the sun set on this design in later years, replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse beginning in 1959, the wheat penny era became a cherished and nostalgic favorite among collectors. Yet not all wheat pennies were created equal, and the 1940 mint mark varieties possess a special allure thanks to their scarcity, unique production history, and the dwindling number of examples that survive in flawless condition today. While millions of these coins were minted for circulation in 1940, very few managed to escape the harsh wear and tear of daily use. Most show dents, scratches, discoloration, and dull finishes from years of passing through countless hands. But those rare specimens that remained untouched, preserved in brilliant condition with full red luster and crisp, sharp details, are considered treasures of exceptional rarity. These high-grade survivors trigger fierce bidding wars at auctions and remain the pride of elite collections. What truly sends collectors into a frenzy are the tiny mint marks, the S or the D struck below the date, that signify production at the San Francisco or Denver mints. Coins from these branch mints were often made in smaller quantities, making them significantly rarer today than their Philadelphia counterparts. Adding even more excitement to the hunt are the elusive varieties and minting errors that occurred during production. Double die obverse errors, where the year or inscriptions appear doubled, off-center strikes that give the coin a slightly skewed appearance, and repunched mint marks where the tiny letter was stamped more than once all create unique one-of-a-kind coins that collectors dream about. Far from being considered flaws, these errors become celebrated anomalies that skyrocket the value of the penny far beyond its original worth. Finding one with such characteristics, combined with superb condition, can be like winning a lottery hidden in your change. It is no wonder so many people spend hours examining every detail under magnification, hoping they might spot something extraordinary. Each passing year adds to the scarcity of pristine 1940 Lincoln Wheat Pennies. Many are damaged, lost, or forgotten, leaving behind only a handful of examples that look almost exactly as they did when they rolled off mint presses so long ago. Meanwhile, the number of collectors has exploded, with hobbyists ranging from curious beginners to lifelong professionals all seeking that perfect copper gem. This surge in interest has caused prices to surge dramatically, and if you are the lucky person to uncover one of these rare mint-marked coins in stunning, uncirculated preservation, the results can be truly life-changing. So now is the time to hunt through every old penny you can get your hands on. Open Grandma's coin purse, search through rolls from your bank, look at flea markets, yard sales, and estate auctions, because that one little coin could be hiding anywhere just waiting to be discovered. Today we're journeying back to one of the most dramatic and unforgettable years in American history, 1944, a time when the world was deep in the throes of World War II and the United States of America was forging a path to victory through courage, sacrifice, and strength. While soldiers fought bravely across distant battlefields, back home in America, everyday citizens carried a simple copper coin in their pockets, the Lincoln Wheat Penny with mint mark, not realizing that decades later, this very coin would become a sensational prize among collectors due to its rarity, beauty, and hidden value. From kitchen countertops to old barns, from dusty attic chests to forgotten jars beneath the stairs, people across the country are desperately searching for this coin today, hoping to stumble across a 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny that holds a legacy of fortune just waiting to be discovered. When you hold a Lincoln Wheat Penny from 1944 in your hand, you are touching history. On the obverse, the calm and steady profile of President Abraham Lincoln stares back at you, a symbol of unity that gave Americans hope long after the Civil War. The motto "In God We Trust" arches confidently above his head, liberty stands to his left in bold type, and beneath the year 1944 proudly marks the year this coin burst into circulation while the world was changing forever. But what truly excites collectors is the tiny mint mark just beside the date, a single, faint letter like D or S, silently revealing whether the coin was produced in Denver or San Francisco. That tiny letter may be small, but its power is enormous in determining the rarity and ultimate value of the coin. Turn the penny over and its reverse side reveals one of the most beloved designs in American numismatic history. Two wheat stalks curve protectively around the center, symbolizing the importance of agriculture in sustaining a nation at war. Between these graceful stalks stand the words 1 cent and United States of America, solid and unwavering, while the Latin phrase E pluribus unum reminds us of a country united from many hearts. This design, delicate yet bold, is the reason collectors refer to these coins simply as wheats, and the 1944 edition is one of the gems that remain legendary thanks to its place in wartime history and a series of unusual minting practices that make pristine examples extremely hard to find. What makes this coin particularly fascinating for treasure seekers is the combination of high historical significance and low survival rate in top-tier condition. During 1944, the United States Mint produced enormous quantities of pennies because copper was needed for war production. Some coins were made of recycled shell casings from battlefields, giving them a wartime mystery all their own. Many of these pennies carried tiny imperfections like planchet blemishes, slightly doubled dates, and even repunched mint marks, providing today's collectors with endless possibilities of rare and valuable varieties. The pennies were passed endlessly between factory workers collecting wages, young boys saving for war bonds, and families buying bread, milk, and war-rationed goods. Time wore away their surfaces, dulled their lettering, and left most of them bruised by circulation. As a result, finding one in truly excellent condition with crisp detail, blazing red copper tone, and untouched luster preserved is like hunting for a diamond in a coal mine. Collectors now scour estate auctions, flea markets, and even online marketplaces on a daily basis searching for these 1944 wheat pennies with mint marks that miraculously survived in near-perfect shape. A coin with the glowing reddish surface known as full red, combined with a sharp mint mark of D or S and classified as uncirculated, is like winning a lottery ticket. Because so many collectors crave this combination of condition, mint mark, and history, the prices have surged year after year. The demand keeps climbing, while the supply keeps shrinking, Every time someone discovers one of these coins and sends it to a grading company, the population count of high-quality pieces becomes clearer, and the rarity more pronounced. Add in the occasional exciting variety, such as a double die or off-center error, and the buzz grows even louder among collectors willing to pay top dollar. So the next time you have a handful of pennies, do not underestimate them. Hold each one up to the light, inspect that tiny mint mark, admire the wheat stalks, and gently brush away the dust of time. You never know when one could be the key to an unforgettable discovery. Hidden fortunes are still out there in old cookie tins, forgotten piggy banks, backyard treasures, and inherited boxes of coins tucked in closets left untouched for generations. Somewhere, perhaps even in your own home or the next coin roll you purchase from the bank, that magical 1944 wheat penny could be waiting for your eyes to spot it. Today we are traveling back to the final year of World War II, 1945, when the world stood on the threshold of victory and rebuilding, and the United States Mint released a simple copper penny that would later become one of the most coveted coins among collectors, the Lincoln Wheat Penny with mint mark. At a time when the nation was cheering for its brave soldiers returning from battlefields overseas, everyday Americans were using this humble 1-cent coin without any idea that decades later it would become a symbol of rarity, nostalgia, and unimaginable worth. From the front porch swing to the cookie jar on Grandma's kitchen shelf, this incredible coin has been quietly hiding, waiting for someone sharp-eyed and lucky enough to discover it. Picture yourself holding a beautifully preserved 1945 penny in your hand. On the front is the familiar face of Abraham Lincoln, captured in solemn detail, unchanged since the design first appeared in 1909 to commemorate his 100th birthday. Above him, the timeless phrase "In God We Trust" arches like a crown. Off to the left stands the powerful word liberty, a reminder of what millions had just fought to protect. To the right, the year 1945 marks a turning point in American history, while just beneath that date lies the tiny but mighty mint mark, perhaps a bold D for Denver or a subtle S for San Francisco. This small letter may appear insignificant, but to collectors it is the key to rarity, unlocking whether the coin is a common find or an astonishing treasure capable of breaking auction records. Flip it over and you're greeted with artistic simplicity. Two curving wheat stalks embrace the words 1 cent and United States of America, a design that symbolizes both abundance and national strength. Above them is the declaration E pluribus unum, reminding Americans that out of many, one. This wheat design is beloved for its elegance and historic significance, and the 1945 mint-marked pennies are among the most intensely hunted varieties because they bring together the end-of-war era, dramatic mintage changes, and mysterious survival stories that capture the imagination of every numismatist. While millions of these coins were struck, very few survived the rough wear of daily use. Most were handed over countless times in transactions, scraped against other coins, worn down in pockets, and even thrown into piggy banks by children saving their pennies during post-war celebrations. Over time their brilliant red luster faded, their sharp designs softened, and their value as collectibles diminished. But perhaps a tiny handful, preserved carefully in rolls, tucked away in military trunks, stored between pages of old diaries, or stashed by soldiers who held them as lucky keepsakes, remained in stunning near-mint or uncirculated condition. These rare survivors are the ones collectors dream about, still blazing with original color, sharp details, and an untouched mint mark. Finding one is a numismatic miracle like discovering buried treasure sparkling in the dirt. Coin specialists especially adore mint-marked versions from the Denver and San Francisco mints because they were made in smaller numbers and many were heavily circulated in western states. That makes pristine samples extraordinarily scarce today. Even more thrilling are the dramatic varieties and minting errors from 1945, double die obverse where the lettering appears doubled, off-center strikes where Lincoln's portrait is slightly misplaced, and repunched mint marks where the tiny D or S was accidentally stamped twice. Instead of being worthless mistakes, these errors drive true collectors wild, transforming an already scarce coin into a one-of-a-kind masterpiece worth many times more than a standard version. The hunt is fierce. Auction houses watch these coins skyrocket in value, and coin grading companies receive countless 1945 wheat pennies from hopeful submitters praying theirs might be a rare mint state gem. With each passing year, high-grade specimens disappear into private collections and museum vaults, shrinking the supply and turning the search into a feverish race. That is exactly why coin lovers search through bank rolls, estate sales, junk drawers, flea markets, and old family heirlooms, hoping to feel their pulse quicken when they spot that magical year under Lincoln's profile with a strong little mint mark beside it. So grab your magnifying glass and examine every wheat penny you come across. Inspect the surface for crisp lines, gleaming copper tones, and a clear mint mark. Study the area around the date carefully because that tiny detail could be the difference between a common pennyworth pocket change and the discovery of a lifetime. Go through grandfather's boxes, grandma's sewing tins, antique store bargains, and your own forgotten childhood collections, because somewhere out there, possibly sitting unnoticed in your very own possession, could be a 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny with mint mark waiting to transform your destiny. Today, prepare to be amazed as we journey back to the incredible year 1947, a time of hope, rebuilding, and new beginnings in the United States of America just after the end of World War II. As soldiers returned home, families reunited, and America stepped boldly into a modern era of prosperity, a modest copper coin quietly entered circulation, the Lincoln Wheat Penny with mint mark, and though it was worth just 1 cent at the time, today it has become one of the most fiercely coveted treasures in all of numismatics. Just imagine holding this little coin in your hand. On the front is the unmistakable image of Abraham Lincoln, dignified, calm, and strong. The legend "In God We Trust" arches proudly above his head, while the word liberty stands beside him like a guardian of America's values. To the right is the magical date 1947, anchoring the penny in a moment in history full of optimism and transformation. But look carefully just below that date. You might spot a small mint mark, perhaps a D for Denver, maybe an S for San Francisco, and that tiny letter makes a world of difference to collectors. It is the clue that can turn an ordinary penny into an extraordinary rarity, as coins from these branch mints were struck in smaller quantities and often saw heavy circulation in isolated regions where few survived in pristine condition. Turn the coin over, and you'll see why collectors have cherished the wheat penny design for decades. 2 elegant stalks of wheat curve upward on either side of the coin, cradling the bold phrases 1 cent and United States of America, symbols of hard work, harvest, and national pride. Above them is the motto "E pluribus unum," out of many, one, a reflection of the unity that carried America through wartime and into a new age of peace. This classic wheat design was eventually retired in 1958, making every year it was minted a piece of American nostalgia, and the 1947 mint mark varieties are among the most thrilling of them all due to their scarcity in top condition and their tantalizing mystery surrounding distribution, storage, and survival. Although millions of pennies were minted in 1947, most saw years of circulation, dropped in candy jars, passed across grocery counters, and jingling in the pockets of hardworking Americans buying bread, coffee, and newspapers. These coins were beaten, dulled, scratched, and worn until their surfaces lost their original shine. But a precious few were spared, perhaps rolled and tucked away in vaults, saved by returning soldiers as sentimental keepsakes, or forgotten in old safety deposit boxes and family heirlooms. Those rare survivors, glowing with fiery copper luster, razor-sharp detail, and untouched mint marks, are now the holy grail for collectors. When one surfaces in brilliant uncirculated condition, it sparks fireworks in the auction world and sends collectors scrambling with excitement. Even more thrilling are the subtle varieties and minting errors associated with this year. Some 1947 wheat pennies display doubled lettering, repunched mint marks where the tiny D or S was accidentally stamped twice, or striking errors in which the coin is slightly off-center or stamped over a flawed planchet. Instead of ruining the coin's value, these oddities actually multiply it, turning each one into a unique masterpiece of minting history. Collectors cherish them as one-of-a-kind gems and will pay astonishing sums for examples featuring sharp mint marks and full red copper appearance. While the average person might look at a penny as nothing more than a tiny piece of worn metal, a passionate numismatist knows to look for every line in Lincoln's hair, the crisp edges of the wheat stalks, the clear definition of lettering, and above all, that tiny mint mark indicating where its life began. With every passing year, the chances of finding a high-grade 1947 Lincoln Wheat Penny with mint mark grow slimmer. It's a race against time, and that's why dedicated collectors check coin rolls, estate sales, garage auctions, and even jars of change passed down through generations. Many life-changing discoveries have been made in the least expected places, inside an old purse, slipped between book pages, hidden in desk drawers, proof that you never know when luck may strike. People who recognize the treasure in their hands are the ones who reap remarkable rewards. So grab your magnifying glass, sharpen your eyes, and begin the hunt. Focus on the color. Does it still have a fiery red glow? Check the mint mark. Is that a solid D or a clean S? Look for perfection in the details. Because if you happen to be the lucky person to uncover this legendary treasure preserved in stunning condition, you could be holding a coin that collectors would fight fiercely to own. Just imagine discovering that your small copper penny from the year 1947, with its tiny mint mark glowing proudly below the date, isn't just a piece of American change, it's a fortune waiting to be claimed. Believe it or not, such a coin in top condition is valued at an absolutely unbelievable $88,000.